Hey guys, we are back in the kitchen today and we are doing a fall sensory dough. And this isn't just for kids. It's an aromatherapy thing. It's so good for your fine motor, and if you're aging and you have arthritis, it's good for you to work your hands, and it's just fun. And it smells good. But the main reason I'm sharing this is a great thing to do with your kiddos in the fall. And you can go outside and gather little pine cones, little nuts, acorns, leaves. You can do leaf impressions in the dough. You can bring the outside in, and kids can enjoy understanding and learning about their world through this sensory dough and bringing natural items in and working with them, and they love it. So the first thing I have is 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and you can buy just the cheap kind. I just happen to have this little bag left that I wanted to kind of use up because I'd used it for something else. So 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and then I have a cup of salt. So you may really want to search out an inexpensive generic brand salt. I just had to go down to the basement and grab this extra that I had in the basement to use it, because it uses up about half of this container to get the cup. So 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt, and then I have 2 tablespoons of cream of tartar, and we just got the generic brand of Great Value cream of tartar. And then I have 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, and I had this big container from Sam's. So I've filled up my dry ingredients, and then it calls for, and this is no bake, by the way, which is great. So you don't have to do the pan and all that stuff. So it calls for 3 tablespoons of coconut. I'm going to use this spoon because this is pretty thick to help me measure out my 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. So there you go. There's that one. And this is an all-natural, coconut oil. How good is it for your skin as well? So put that in there. My cinnamon's already in there. So you can kind of see it as I plop that down in there. And there is my 3rd tablespoon. So I have in my tea kettle over here heating and bringing to a boil water, and I'm going to measure out 1 1/4 cups of boiling water and pour into my bowl. Carefully pour into my bowl, and then we're going to work the dough and form a dough. So I'm going to put this in the sink, and I'm going to move my tea kettle back to the burner and let it heat up really good. Okay, as you can see, my kettle has come to a boil. I'm going to measure out 1 1/4 cups of the boiling water, and I'm going to pour it right over, and I'm going to try to aim it on this coconut oil so that that's a little bit easier to work with and manipulate. I'm going to pour that in and start working my dough. And this is a great thing to let those kiddos help you measure the ingredients, help you mix the dough. They're getting lots of nice math and science awareness and skills as you're doing this. So that boiling water has literally melted the coconut oil, and I'm just going to work this into a nice dough. And as you're working it into a nice dough, it just smells so good. Okay, at a certain point in your mixing, you're going to want to get you some parchment paper or wax paper. This is wax paper, and I've turned my dough out onto it, or a pastry board, whatever you want to use, cutting board, a marble slab, and you're just going to work that dough. And this is, because of the boiling water, this is nice and warm, and as you're working it, my hands smell like cinnamon. It smells like fall baking, like I'm cooking for Thanksgiving or the holidays or something. So it's a beautiful fall colored dough, nice and brown. great texture. I'm gonna end up storing it in a gallon Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna store it in the fridge. You don't have to, but it'll just keep it fresher longer. The cream of tartar kind of helps it last longer. So I've taken out, and you can use some of this. I love cloves. I've told you that before. I love the way they smell, so they can play with the cloves in there, and that's antimicrobial and antibacterial, these cloves. So as long as they know don't eat them or put them in your mouth and you're working with them and you're watching them. But again, it's gonna smell good in that warm dough. I've got it in a little container. I'm gonna show you this tray in just a second. You can also let them play with cinnamon sticks. Put those in like the Tinker tray. Here's my cloves. I also have freeze-dried ginger, which smells great. So you can even add that to your dough, and that's gonna give them a little bit of texture in there and allow them to like pick things out. You can give them a pair of tweezers and let them pick things out of the dough. And I can't just stress how great this nice warm dough feels. So one thing that I kind of keep at my house, and I change it seasonally, and I've actually got this new one because my kiddos gave me this charcuterie board to be able to use this. This is that gigantic board that you can put your charcuterie and appetizer stuff in, and I've been using it as a Tinker tray for my grandchildren. So it has removable parts. So I removed this one so that they could have a great big area with the Play-Doh. Just plop it right there. I've got just things from my kitchen. I let Josie cut up fruits and veggies on her own, or cheeses, because these are safe to use. I also have a little wooden one, so they can cut the dough with that. Makes a nice cut out of it, and it's all wavy, and you can use that language. This is wavy, or it makes the grooves in there. I let her use a little casserole pot. I've got some wax stamps that make an impression in there. I went to Dollar Tree and got the bag of bones so she can play with bones. I have some attribute shapes that they can play with. And I chose the fall colored ones to put in here. I also have some fall scatter. There's little gold pumpkins, little gems that they can put in the dough. Baking cups to fill up to see volume. And of course, some just little trinkets. I've got like some of her toys. I've got a campfire, and I've got some like My Little Ponies here that she can play with the dough. I've got a back scratcher. So just go around your house. You don't have to have anything fancy. Grab stuff, or again, head outside and grab let them go on a nature hunt and get their own finds to play with this that are totally free. So enjoy, make your fall sensory dough, even if it's just for yourself to engage in a sensory experience and work your hands with warm dough, cold dough from the fridge after you've stored it, or to help your children build fine motor skills, which builds their skills for handwriting and doing small tasks. All right, enjoy. Thanks for joining us.